Hello everyone, this is Highlander from MTG Cardsmith with another MTGC custom Magic card review. Here we're reviewing another card by our friend Arceus. This is also from his set Bafflem. Um, this is the third card we're reviewing from that set. So far we've seen some interesting things. So let's see what we got going on here. This is a card called Command the Wicked. It's 5 mana, triple black. For some reason I love black cards. I don't know. Black is just I find black to be a very interesting color. Anyway, choose any number of modes that total exactly 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Okay, so I'm assuming this is like the cost of the mode here. So 1, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Okay, sure. So I could do that 4 times. If I could draw 4 cards and lose 4 life. I mean, that's pretty strong. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Oh, sorry, I just got distracted. This kid has an arrow going through his head. I don't really know what's going on here with this art. I mean, it looks like a black magic. It looks like a black card, but then all of a sudden there's these random cartoon characters. I don't exactly know what's going on here. Anyway, okay, so you could kill 2 creatures with this. Target player loses 3 life. Also costs 2. Okay, I mean, seems unlikely that you would use that, but I mean, a drain for 6. Drain for 6 is definitely like pretty threatening, actually. So I take it back. I think that's a strong mode. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, and then wow, and you can draw a card off that. Wow, this card's incredibly strong. There are okay, so like, how many different modes can you like? Okay, so if you draw a card, if you do a 1 and a 2, you have to draw 2 cards. So you kill a creature, draw 2 cards. You could drain, draw 2 cards. I mean, you're probably not doing that very often. You can return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield and draw a card. That's ew. And this is okay. It is your graveyard, so it does follow modern templating. Yeah, this card's really strong. It's, I mean, okay. So as far as this mechanic goes, this is pretty cool. I like how these modes have like costs associated with them, and you can kind of combine the cost. That's pretty cool. The wording is a little weird, but I did get it right off the bat, so maybe the wording's fine. Like, choose any number of modes that total exactly 4. And then these have costs here. I don't know how you would change that to actually make that work. Or sort of to be more explicit about it, I should say. I mean, to be fair, I did understand it, so I think maybe it's fine. So I don't think I'll really take too many points off for that. I mean, so again, this mechanic is interesting. I like that. Generally, with modal cards, I find them to be not as interesting as just cards that do 1 effect. And the reason for that is that they kind of do everything. So it's like it takes some of the uniqueness away from the card, if that kind of makes sense. Like it's kind of like, well, you have, I mean, here's all the things that black does. Pick some of the things that black does and do them, right? And it's sort of like, not saying that modal cards aren't fun to play, because this is definitely fun to play with, like getting to sort of choose these modes. But from a design perspective, I don't find them terribly interesting. But I think this makes it a lot more interesting. The fact that these have costs on it. So I like that. I like that. Power level. I mean, this one's definitely pushing it. Like, I don't want to say that this is too powerful. Okay, let's compare this to a very similar costed card that just came out from Kamigawa, which is what? It's like an Invoke, I think. Invoke. Okay, let's sort by release date. Yeah, Invoke Despair. That's what I'm thinking of. Oh, this one's actually even harder to cast. So this one's quad black 1. This is basically a 3-for-1, this card. So you pay 5 and you essentially get a 3-for-1. This card, you can pay a cheaper cost. You can draw 4 cards off of it, lose 4 life. You could get a 2-for-1. This is a 4-for-1. This is a 2-for-1. This is about a 2-for-1, I would say. I mean, again, this is a very situational 2-for-1, but like you don't generally see a card that drains for 6. So I guess it's not a drain; it's a lose 6 life. So I mean, it's better than a Lava Axe. I mean, not the Lava Axe is like the greatest card ever, but you think you understand what I'm saying. This mode is like really scary. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and draw a card and lose a life. Yeah, it's hard for me. Okay, I guess here's the sort of tiebreaker is that this card is super flexible, right? Cards that are very flexible do take a hit. When I say hit, like, okay, so if you're trying to price a card, you can kind of think of it in such a way as like, okay, well, the card does these things, and each of these things is worth some amount of points, and for a given cost and rarity, you have X points to spend on what your card can do, if that makes sense. So like, I'll give you an example. Let's say, so like, let's look at Thraben Inspector for a moment. So Thraben Inspector is a 1/2-for-1 that investigates. Okay, so you can kind of think of it this way. For 1 mana, you generally get anywhere between 3 to 4 points to spend. Okay, 3 points are taken up here by the stats, and 1 point taken up by the ability. If this were draw a card, usually draw a card is worth like 2 points. But since this is not draw a card, it's investigate, which is, you're already paying for that. This is sort of like a 4-point card, right? When you have a card that does a lot, that is super flexible, that's worth a lot of points. So it's tough for me to really say if this is on par or not. It's definitely on the board, on the edge. I could definitely see this costing 6 and being perfectly fine. It is a sorcery, so that's worth considering. Yeah, I can't say definitively whether the power level is correct on this or not. There's just so many factors involved on this card. Like, it's tough to price. This is like one of those things where you'd have to play test and really figure it out. But my inkling is that it's a little bit too strong for the cost. That being said, I like this card. I really do. I mean, again, I already talked about how I like the fact that you're making modal a little bit more interesting. Making these kind of choices is really cool. I'd love to see like more of this. And this card's very powerful. So I like the card. I'm gonna give this card a 4 out of 5 for design. And because I can't really decide if it's too good or not, it's it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. But yeah, I would say you should play test with this card and really sort of keep an eye on it, right? I mean, I could see this card being one of the best cards in the set. Anyway, so that's my review of Command the Wicked, and thanks for watching.